What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Buzz. Henry Cejudo recently shared his thoughts on Tom Aspinall's eye poke incident at UFC 321, drawing comparisons to his own experience during his fight against Song Yadong. The former double champion explained that he too suffered an eye poke severe enough to blur his vision, leading to an abrupt stoppage in his bout. Unlike Aspinall's case, however, the fight was ruled a technical decision in favor of Song Yadong. Cejudo expressed frustration with how events unfolded at UFC 321, describing it as one of the worst cards in UFC history. My instant reaction to what happened between Tom Aspinall and his opponent: it's unfortunate, man. It doesn't take much for something like that to happen, he said. The UFC won't be happy about it, and now they'll have to rebook everything. More money, more delays. Honestly, this was probably the worst card the UFC has ever put together. From the co-main to the main event, it just couldn't get any worse. Horrible judging, questionable decisions. The whole thing felt off. It was one of those nights where you just want the card to end. Reflecting on his own injury, Cejudo explained the lasting effects an eye poke can have on a fighter. Maybe Tom still has some damage there. Maybe his eye is still swollen shut. For me, even days after the fight, my eye would still turn red from irritation because of the scar tissue, he revealed. It takes about a year for your eye to completely heal. You can see this little dot right here. Very small, but it's there. I'm damaged, bro. Cejudo went on to highlight how fragile yet vital a fighter's eyesight is, emphasizing the sensitivity of the eye once it's been injured. It's actually really hard to damage an eyeball, but once you do, it becomes extremely sensitive, he said. Any little bit of strain or contact can cause irritation or pain. Fighters take these risks every time they step into the octagon, and people don't always realize how something as small as a poke can change a fight, or even a career. Cejudo's comments shed light on the serious and often overlooked nature of eye injuries in MMA, as well as the unpredictable chaos that sometimes surrounds major UFC events. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for latest MMA updates. Move on to another news. Pimblett didn't hold back when sharing his reaction to UFC 321, calling it one of the worst pay-per-view events in UFC history. The British lightweight took to his YouTube channel to express his disappointment, especially after witnessing Tom Aspinall's fight end due to a brutal eye poke incident. Well, that was an eye poke, wasn't it? That was both eyes as well, Pimblett said in disbelief. It wasn't just one finger in one eye. Both fingers went right in. He literally pushed both his fingers into Tom's eyes. If this ends like that, it'll go down as one of the worst pay-per-views ever. One of the biggest disappointments in UFC history when it comes to a main event. Pimblett analyzed the moment closely, noting how severe the injury appeared. That's nasty, lad, the way both fingers went in. This fight can't end like this. Tom hasn't fought in 15 months and now this happens. The way he's reacting, you can tell he can't see. They're probably going to pull the fight. It's done, he lamented. Describing the outcome as anticlimactic as it gets, Pimblett echoed commentator John Anik's thoughts that the matchup deserved a rematch. They've got to run that back. You can't just end it like that. It was shaping up to be a good fight. Probably the biggest test Tom's had so far in the UFC, he said. Pimblett also expressed empathy for Cyril Gane, who accidentally caused the incident. I feel bad for Gane, even though it was his fault. It was clearly unintentional. He didn't mean to do it, but still, it's on him that the fight couldn't continue. Before ending his video, Pimblett addressed a long-standing issue in MMA, glove design. The UFC needs to do something about the gloves, he urged. You shouldn't be able to extend your fingers like that. These eye pokes keep happening, and it ruins fights that fans have waited months to see. Pimblett's reaction summed up the collective frustration among fans and fighters who felt robbed of a highly anticipated heavyweight clash, turning UFC 301 into one of the most talked about and disappointing cards of the year. Move on to another news. Longo didn't hold back when discussing the controversial eye poke incident involving Tom Aspinall at UFC 321. The veteran coach called the situation ridiculous and criticized both the UFC and fans for how they handled the aftermath, particularly the idea of blaming Aspinall for what was clearly an accidental and unfortunate injury. Longo voiced his frustration with how the process unfolded, questioning the medical protocol and the lack of common sense during the fight stoppage. The genius way of dealing with it is, whatever you do, don't say you can't see, Longo said sarcastically. We're not going to ask you if you can see? How crazy is that? Hey doc, when you go in there and look at him, don't ask if he can see, because obviously the man can't see. And then the fight will be over. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He went on to criticize the overall handling of the incident, saying there has to be a better system in place to protect fighters while maintaining fairness in competition. You want the guy to keep fighting? Let him get treated properly first. I don't know what the answer is, but there's got to be something better than that, he explained. Longo was also baffled by how quickly some fans began blaming Aspinall for what happened. You're blaming Aspinall? For what? He said. Why would anyone think he wanted to end the fight like that. Why would you ever want to poke a guy in the eyes in the first place? What's the incentive not to, if that's how situations like this are handled? His comments highlight a growing frustration in the MMA community regarding recurring eye poke incidents and the need for glove redesigns and medical clarity. Longo's passionate response underlines what many fighters and coaches feel, that the UFC must find a safer, more consistent way to handle these situations so that careers aren't jeopardized by accidents beyond a fighter's control. Move on to another news. Tom Aspinall has finally spoken out about the shocking aftermath of UFC 321, giving fans an update on his eye injury and addressing the backlash he received following the controversial no contest ruling. The British heavyweight was accidentally poked in both eyes during his fight, with the right eye suffering the most significant damage. According to the ringside ophthalmologist, the decision to stop the fight was absolutely the right call. "You should stop the fight until you're fully recovered and cleared by our department," the doctor explained. "We didn't find anything dangerous, but I want to see you again to make sure everything comes back to normal." Fortunately, the doctor confirmed that Tom did not suffer any long-term damage and that his vision should return to normal soon. Reflecting on the terrifying experience, Aspinall admitted that it was far more frightening than any previous injury he's endured. "It's a dangerous sport, man," he said. "It's scarier than when I tore my knee because you know your knee's going to heal, but with your eye, you don't know how it's going to be. It's just a scary situation." Despite the severity of the injury, some fans inside the arena began booing after the fight was ruled a no contest, a reaction that didn't sit well with the visibly frustrated Aspinall. "People started booing me like it was my fault," he said. "He double poked me in the eyes after I've been out for 14 months. Trust me, the last thing I wanted was someone's finger knuckle deep in my eye. It's outrageous." The British contender's calm yet firm response sheds light on the emotional toll fighters endure in moments like this. Aspinall's focus now is on full recovery, ensuring his eyesight returns to 100% before he considers stepping back into the octagon. His resilience and professionalism have earned praise from fellow fighters and fans, who understand that accidents happen, but health must always come first. Move on to another news. Tom Aspinall has finally broken his silence on the controversial fight against Cyril Gane, expressing frustration over what he believes was an unfair outcome. In a recent video on his YouTube channel, Aspinall claimed that Gane should have been disqualified after repeatedly poking him in the eyes during their bout. "I don't understand how he wasn't disqualified for that," Tom said. "It's outrageous. He was warned at least once before. The referee told him to keep his fingers closed, and then it happened again, twice before. People started booing like it was my fault. I was double poked in the eye after 14 months of recovery. I didn't want someone's finger knuckle deep in my eye. Something needs to change so fighters don't suffer serious injuries from this. It's not a hardship." Aspinall's father also spoke out, questioning the UFC's lack of accountability when it comes to eye pokes and groin strikes. "The UFC keeps records of everything," he said. "I wonder if they track how many fighters poke opponents in the eyes or kick them in the groin and still get away with it. The fight continues, and the injured fighter might lose because of it. As a parent, it's horrifying to think your son could lose an eye because of repeated pokes. I'm not saying Cyril does it intentionally, but the UFC should analyze who does and ensure they clean up their techniques. Too many fighters get away with it, win the fight, and ensure they clean up their techniques." Tom Aspinall. The incident has sparked debate among fans and analysts. Some agree with Aspinall, arguing that repeated eye pokes, intentional or not, should result in disqualification to protect fighters' safety. Others believe the incident was accidental and that a no contest was the correct call. What's clear is that Aspinall's frustration highlights an ongoing issue in MMA. With several high-profile fights affected by eye pokes in recent years, many are calling on the UFC and athletic commissions to enforce stricter rules or introduce glove designs that prevent fingers from extending outward. Whether or not the organization takes action remains to be seen, but the debate over fighter safety continues to grow louder after this controversial bout. Move on to another news. Daniel Cormier revealed that he saw Tom Aspinall backstage shortly after UFC 321, and what he witnessed left him surprised. Cormier said that despite Tom's left eye taking the most severe poke during the fight, it was actually his right eye that appeared to be in worse condition afterward. According to DC, Tom still had heavy bandages covering his right eye, and he couldn't open it even 20 minutes after the fight ended. His right eye was completely covered, Cormier explained, but what's strange is that his other eye, the left one, was the one where Gane's finger went knuckle deep. Somehow, the right eye ended up more scraped and swollen. Cormier described how painful the situation clearly was for Tom, noting that the fighter was visibly frustrated and emotional about how the incident unfolded. Fans in the arena initially booed Aspinall, mistakenly believing he had overreacted or looked for a way out of the fight. But once the replay was shown on screen, the crowd realized the severity of the eye poke. When the audience saw what really happened, Cormier said, they switched and started booing Cyril Gane instead. The moment, he noted, highlighted both how dangerous eye pokes can be and how quickly public perception can shift when viewers see the full truth. Tom Aspinall, still reeling from the pain and disappointment, reportedly expressed frustration backstage that such a dangerous foul had gone largely unchecked. His injury and the controversy around the fight have now become one of the biggest talking points following UFC 321. Move on to another news. Sean O'Malley recently came to the defense of Tom Aspinall following the controversial eye poke incident at UFC 321, addressing fans who questioned Tom's toughness and decision to stop fighting. In a video on his YouTube channel, O'Malley offered a fighter's perspective, emphasizing that what happened was an illegal striking, not a simple injury one can push through. He explained that there's a huge difference between getting punched in the eye and being poked. If you get hit with a legal shot and your eye swells up, that's different, O'Malley said. You can fight through that. But when you get poked in the eye, that's illegal. It's not about toughness. He made it clear that Tom Aspinall, known for his grit and professionalism, would never quit because of pain alone. Tom's one of the toughest guys in the division, O'Malley continued. He wanted that fight more than anyone wanted to watch it. To question his heart is insane. O'Malley also reflected on his own experience with eye pokes during training, describing how disorienting and frightening it can be. When it happens, everything goes black. You can't see, it hurts, and you don't know if your vision is coming back. That's not something you fight through. You literally can't. He further defended Aspinall by stressing that Cyril Gane's poke was clearly accidental, but the result was still serious. I don't think Cyril did it on purpose, O'Malley said. He was getting the better of Tom, but that doesn't change the fact that it was an illegal strike. Once you're poked in the eye that deep, you're not fighting anyone, especially not an elite heavyweight throwing power shots. O'Malley concluded by urging fans to stop criticizing Aspinall and understand what's truly at stake in moments like this. You only get one pair of eyes. You risk your sight forever for a sport you love. Nobody wanted that fight to end that way, least of all Tom. Move on to another news. Alexander Volkov recently addressed the controversy surrounding his victory over Jailton Almeida at UFC 321, a result that left many fans and analysts shocked when the judges' scorecards were revealed. Despite Almeida securing 7 takedowns and maintaining long stretches of top control, 2 of the 3 judges awarded the fight to Volkov, sparking debate across the MMA community. Volkov defended the decision, emphasizing that damage, not control time, is the true measure of winning a fight. He was tough, and his takedowns were pretty good, Volkov said. I know it looked a bit funny how he kept taking me down, but every time we were on the ground or standing, I was landing harder shots. I inflicted more damage. Even in the first round, I swept him and landed clean strikes from the top. That's why I believe I deserved the win. The Russian heavyweight further explained that Almeida seemed more focused on avoiding damage than actually winning. He was trying not to lose rather than trying to win, Volkov said. You can't step into the octagon with that mindset. It's really hard to create space or stand up when someone's just holding you. But if you're not doing anything, not punching or attempting submissions, you can't expect to win. Statistics from the fight back Volkov's argument. Almeida landed only 27 total strikes across 3 rounds and failed to attempt a single submission, despite controlling top position for the majority of the bout. This lack of activity drew criticism from both fans and UFC President Dana White. Even though Jailton got all the takedowns and control time, he wasn't doing anything with it, Dana said post-fight. Even Ben Askren joked, is Jailton allergic to throwing punches? You can't win a fight by just lying on top of someone. That's not how it works. I was actually happy with how the judges scored that fight. For Volkov, this win was an important comeback following his razor-thin split decision loss to Cyril Gane earlier in the year. With this victory, he believes his path toward a UFC title shot is clearer than ever. I think this fight proves I'm right there with the best, Volkov said. I felt I beat Gane when we fought, and seeing how he performed against Aspinall until that unfortunate ending, I know I belong in the title conversation.